Good morning, everybody. This is Judith A. Hope you're listening to Mad Love. Let's get into it. So, I awakened to the news that Rob Reiner and his wife were murdered by their son. Um, the family says it was the son, one of their sons, but the police haven't confirmed it yet, which is normal. So they have to do an investigation. His son, Nick, I think, had a drug problem for years. And one thing about drugs and mental illness, they usually go hand in hand. Either the person is self-medicating because of their mental illness and they turn to drugs, or they do so many drugs they become psychotic. And believe it or not, this happens. I worked on a case where this happened. The kid just did a bunch of drugs and went downstairs and murdered his stepfather. Um, and I say it glibly, but I don't feel glibly about it at all. It was horrible, horrifying. And it adds an extra layer of trauma to the family. It's already bad enough when someone gets murdered, but to be murdered by a relative, someone you presume to feel safe around for your life because you know them, but it's scary and a horrible, horrible thing to make a family endure. So rest in peace to one of my favorite directors and his wife. Um, what a tragic way to die. Man, so December 14th will now be Rob Reiner's death date, and December 15th is my mom's death date. Rest in heaven to my mom very peacefully because she went out of natural causes. And that's the way we want to die, right? Naturally. You don't want someone coming in and ending your life prematurely. Because, you never know what God had you here for. So, man, that's sad. Really sad. I mean, I was in film school when Rob Reiner's biggest hits were coming out. And man, I wanted so badly to be, that kind of filmmaker. Uh, yeah, when Harry Met Sally was epic. Very well written, very funny. I do think the ending was Hollywood. I do think they would have broken up and not gotten back together in the course of the film, at least, which is something that I took into account when I was writing my first romantic. I guess it's kind of a comedy, but it wasn't technically a rom-com, but it's definitely something I thought about. Like this end, everything works except this ending. You know, I don't care who you are. You run across town. Uh, to say, oh, it's finally dawned on you that I'm the one, man, after all you put me through, fuck off. Excuse the yawn. But yeah, When Harry Met Sally was great. Nora Ephron's gone too, that screenwriter. Um, Stand By Me, one of my favorite movies. Uh, Fantastic movie if you get a chance to rewatch it. It'll make you tear up because the scene when they explain what happens to River Phoenix's character, and then in fact he died young. It's really sad, but it was a good movie, very well told. I enjoyed that one. Stand By Me, When Harry Met Sally, The Princess Bride, one of my all-time favorite movies. As You Wish. Um, Princess Bride is hilarious. I am Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Good stuff. He really, really made really good movies. And that makes me too sad. Misery gave us Misery. And I think I was in film school and I was like, you guys, don't you get the bigger picture? That we're all products of our own misery. If we're miserable, we've created it. Because that Annie, she was obsessed with this book. And, when she got a chance to take care of the author, man, that hobbling scene, to this day, I've never seen it. I closed my eyes. One of my friends told me about it, And he was like, man, and his I was like, nope, I'm closing my eyes. So I'm glad I did that. Um, but yeah, rest in creative peace. And I think, people don't understand how challenging it is to have when your family has a mentally ill person or a drug addict. Everybody has it. It's everybody's problem. Anybody that comes in contact with that nuclear family, you marry into it. The whole family has it. That person is liable to disrupt every single element of the family, and it doesn't go away quickly and neatly. Very rarely do you just give somebody some pills and then they're healed and then everything's fine. It touches every dynamic in the family, and it's exhaustive and obviously scary. So I'm really sorry to the entire Reiner family, because now this is going to be the thing that just hangs over their head, which is worse than just having somebody be ill. This is way worse. And to stab two people, like, I don't even want to think about it. Slitting two people's throats. Were they asleep or something? This is just horrible. Ugh, really awful news to wake up to. Patrick Mahomes is out. He went down and that looked horrible. That looked really, really bad. His leg just looked like it snapped. You could see something snap in his knee, the ACL. Same with Michael Parsons. Something just looked like it popped. Um, it probably was the extreme cold. You have to really stretch and be um, super warmed up in those temperatures, and then on top of that, maybe not have a bunch of people running into your leg repeatedly. Um, you could see Michael went down without contact, but you could see something pop when that man was holding on to Patrick's leg, and that's just sad. And that is the sad end of the Chiefs dynasty. Will he come back? Of course. Will they finally get serious about getting him more players? Because there were many stretches in that game yesterday where he had to hold the ball because there was just absolutely nobody getting open. And I don't know who's shocked that Juju Smith-Schuster couldn't get open. And I think they tried to bring in Tyquan Thornton, then he got hammered and looked like he got concussed. I mean, you have to have more players to throw the ball to. Their first touchdown was Mahomes running for like 12 yards and I was like, he's gonna have to do that the whole game in order for them to win, and that's just not realistic. And like I said, they told us they weren't ever really gonna go retool the team when Tyreek Hill left, and they didn't go and try to make a splashy signing, free agency, nothing. They draft Rashee Rice, who at times looks like he could be the number one receiver, but then he fades out at times too. Like, he's not a dominant receiver. And, all of his he got injured, then he had the off the field stuff. Those are crucial times that you should be on the field building chemistry with your quarterback, and you're not there. I don't think Xavier Worthy is a two. I mean, I think they really need to uh, get some draft capital and really rebuild this team. And now they can have a fire sale because this season is over. And maybe Andy Reid goes. Not that I have any issues with Andy Reid. I just think this team got super old really fast. Their core pieces got old fast. Um, they were willing to part with people like Tyrann Mathieu and other folks, Tyreek Hill. People moved in and out, but they really committed to Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes. Now you have to have you keep Patrick Mahomes no matter what. But Chelsea, haha, Travis Kelce should have been encouraged to retire 2 years ago. He did okay last year, but he clearly was diminished, and he was even more so this year. No separation. Could not get free. You lose a step, and those hits add up. So, yeah, they're going to have to rebuild. I don't know what happens to Green Bay now. And now Jerry Jones is looking like a genius, right? But it's still the Cowboys. And yes, you moved off of Micah Parsons and you got good replacements and your defense plays better. But you can't win. Why can't you win big games? JJ McCarthy looked great against them. And their defense is good. Their defense is good. So I they have great offensive weapons. I don't know what it is about Dallas, but they just can't seem to win, which doesn't hurt my feelings or anything. I've never been a huge Dallas fan, but I do like that. And he's dealt with a lot of chaos in that organization, and he just puts his head down and plays as hard as he can. And it's not really him. You can see that he has great weapons. I don't know what's missing. It's got to be the play calling or something. He seems to get a decent amount of time to throw. Um, they might want to incorporate different play calls with tight ends. Their running game is not bad, but I don't think anybody's super afraid of their running game yet. I don't. Maybe that's it. Maybe they need to. I mean, they don't have like a Saquon Barkley. Javonte Williams is pretty good, and his backup was pretty good. Like I said, it's not an obvious. I can't figure out. I've seen enough of Dallas's games. I just can't figure out why. But this goes back to Tony Romo. They could never just be good enough. They might make it to the playoffs. They haven't made it to the playoffs in forever. But I remember I was watching that game where Tony Romo had that muff at the goal line and did something super weird. It was like, what's happening? Like, they just can't be great. It's like somebody put a hex on their team. And I think it's named Jerry. But yeah, football was really interesting yesterday. I made a quiche, a gluten-free quiche. I enjoyed the heck out of that. I just had a good day. You know, last year my mom passed on a Sunday, but it's this year. Sorry, but and this year it's today. The 15th is today. It's sunny. It's cold, but it wasn't like it was. I think it was a cold gray day last year, but it might have been sunny. She died in the late afternoon, and at this time of the year, the sun goes down pretty quick. Um, and it was a blur. I mean, she hadn't had food and water for 7 days. I mean, what a strong person. She just wanted to be here. And I just feel like she's a super guardian angel now. And the beauty, and I've seen this, I've heard spiritualists talk about it. I've heard other people talk about this, that when your loved one transitions out of this realm, they're stripped away of all the earthly issues that they had and the mission and contract that they had to fulfill. When they came here, they had a plan that was between them and God. And I was listening to a man, I think his name is Lee Harris. He was talking yesterday on a podcast, and he was saying, like, he's seen people uh, get reintroduced to folks in their lives while they were alive that were just so hard on them, so difficult, so challenging. But in the next realm, they are, basically a superhero and really pushing for the success of the loved one they left behind. And I feel that. And he said, they just get stripped away of all of the ego and their problems, and it's just pure love. And all that's left is the love that they had for you. And that if you had needed, the opposite of what they were, that's what they would have been to you. So you didn't need them to hug you and kiss you and tell you everything was going to be all right. You needed what they were to get to a point in your life to fulfill your life's mission. So I was like, man, that makes total sense because, when I do my energy work, and I do tarot. I'm still learning tarot, but when I do it, my mom comes through as such a champion for me. When in my lifetime, I just remember so many times where it felt like she just wasn't that. There were times where I felt like I needed support and she just was not giving it. And it creates a certain thing in your personality. Like when your mom is hard to please, you either shrivel up and just become super mousy and quiet, or you become kind of boisterous, like, hey, look, I'm used to nobody. My mom didn't even buy my ideas, and moms buy everybody's ideas. It just makes you tougher, you know? And so I had to become something to get to this season of my life, which is obviously going to be great. I just don't know all the details yet, and some of the logistics are being figured out, but I had to go through all of that with her. That was my journey with her. And I'm going to tell you something, the level of caregiving that I had to give, everybody won't do that. And everybody won't be capable of doing that. Some of you will be called into that kind of duty because that's why you're here, to learn that level of devotion. I don't think you really love someone till you have to wipe their ass. I mean, I don't know, because it wasn't an option. I had one friend who was like, I don't think I could just like wipe my mom's butt. And I'm like, I think you I think if you look at it that way, you would say, "Oh, of course I can't do that." But in reality, the what's really true is I can't leave shit on my mom. Like that's really, I can't let her just lay here in her own filth. She didn't do that for me. It's a sign of respect. I have to clean her. And I remember I saw some poop on her sheets once, and I was like, "Oh no, poop doesn't stay on the sheets. We changed these sheets." And we began immediately to change the sheets. Like I just don't, and that's how she raised me. You know, if you had an accident in the bed or something happened on your bed, the sheets got cleaned immediately. You don't just sleep over on it or around it. She was very serious about cleanliness. And so when people walked in here and they couldn't tell a person was, dying, I was proud of that. Because I'm telling you, those smells, it's very concentrated. When you go in there, this time last year, I didn't have to do it this time, but from October to the first part of December, I would get a bucket full of hot water every morning and get in there and clean her and make sure her bed was dry and make sure everything was copacetic. Everybody's not going to be able to do that. Everybody's not going to do that. But for those of you who will, God bless you. For those of you who are doing it now, God bless you. And let your ego go. If you're the caregiver, let your ego go. And if you're the patient, let your ego go. Because this is what God intends. He wants this to happen. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening. And it's part of your journey. It's part of your story, And it's sad. It is sad because you love someone and they're hurting and they're suffering and they need this care. But, I heard a popular but hated preacher say, if the situation isn't changing, then God's trying to change you. And no truer words have been spoken. So we are in for a very interesting time. And all I can say is we do every day have to ask God to deliver us from evil, seen and unseen, forces known and unknown. Because surely goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and our cups do run over. They do. You just have to remember that. Because there are some shitty headlines. There are some scary headlines. There are a lot of things out here manipulating us to make us feel insecure. But faith is not insecure. Faith is very secure. And God and source and universe, whatever you want to call it, has a plan for all of us. And if we use our energy wisely, we can activate God's plan and deactivate all of this bullshit. And I do believe by asking God to deliver us from evil is a big part of it. So I'll share with you what I say every morning. It's the revised Ho'oponopono prayer by Dr. Steve Young. And then I add my deliver us from evil. So this is what I say every day. I love you, God. I'm sorry I don't always recognize your love and divine orchestration over every moment of my life, including this one. Please forgive me. Thank you for everything, all the time. Please deliver us from evil, seen and unseen, forces known and unknown. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives. My cup runneth over. You have prepared a table before me in the presence of my enemies, and I deeply, deeply appreciate it. Thank you so much, God. Amen. Whew, I felt that one. Feel free to steal it, use it, say it. We need to activate God, deactivate the bullshit. You dig? Activate God, deactivate Mark Zuckerberg, deactivate Jeff Bezos, deactivate, and I'm talking about tech people, deactivate Elon Musk. There are people out here who are serving God, serving technology. That's not us. We are here to serve God and to live out our mission. And only you and God know what that mission is. So stay strong, stay safe, and I bless your day and your life. I miss my mom. Thank you for everybody who reached out. I do miss her, but I'm glad she's not suffering. And she is on the other side doing some superhero shit for me and my siblings. And she'll do it for you too if you ask her, because she loved her family. And if you are special to me in any way, you are special to her. Take care of yourselves. Be well. Have a beautiful Monday.